The most attention-grabbing moment in Dixie Speedway history is waiting to unfold. The nation's top late models have come to Woodstock, Georgia to navigate from one turn to the next and to chart the perfect course to victory. It's the 6th annual Hav-A-Tampa Shootout, and more than 100 dirt track race teams want this one win more than nearly any other, because this win could make your whole year. And the chase is about to begin. Six years of building one of the most incredible dirt racing series in America. The Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series has come down to one final moment at historic Dixie Speedway in Woodstock, Georgia. Hello, race fans. This is Trace Ali, along with the president of the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series, Jimmy Mosteller, here to cover the biggest event for 1995 for the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. It's called the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout.
And there's nothing like the shootout, especially when you have the top contenders from all over the country coming in. Of course, one thing that brings all of these super late model drivers is one thing, that long green stuff, and our purse will exceed $140,000. But I don't know that it's always the money that brings the drivers in. I think it's the prestige of coming in winning the 6th annual Hav-A-Tampa Shootout.
The prestige means you get to run against the nation's best, including Scott Bloomquist, already the 1995 Hav-A-Tampa Series racing champion. He's won over $400,000 in earnings, the largest single season record for money winnings in late model history. And he's also got 20-plus wins on the season, 13 of them coming in 26 Hav-A-Tampa Series events in 1995. Billy Moyer, the Midwest champion, who has titles and over 500 wins to his credit, who's won lots of money and lots of attention over the years, here to defend his Midwestern standings. Freddie Smith, Dirt 100 champion 4 times and a $100,000 winner at the Dream Race in 1994. Ronnie Johnson, son of Joe Lee Johnson, a former Winston Cup winner who's now running and creating his own series championship style. Donnie Moran, Ohio's champion, who's won more races and more money than anyone in Star's dirt late model history, and is here to compete with many, many more who come after them, all wanting a shot at winning this title.
No question about it, Trace, but one thing about it, of the 24 that's going in that 100-lap event, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. And I'll say one thing, we might see some dark horses in the stage right here.
We know there's no lack of competition, as evidenced by last night's heat races. Let's take a look right now at some of those highlights. Scott Bloomquist did what everyone expected him to do in heat number 1, starting on the outside of the pole, quickly shooting to the front, and it was bye-bye Katie. In the back, some background action with the number 81 car of Granger Howell trying to hold off James Dean in the 16 car, followed by Russell Landrum out of Atlanta. Scott Bloomquist, of course, was the winner of heat race number 1, and of course is already determined as the 1995 champion for the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series. In heat race number 2, Black Jack Boggs from Grayson, Kentucky, sped ahead very quickly on that race, opened himself about an 8 or 9 car lead, with Bill Fry battling away, trying to figure out the combination and not having a lot of luck in that particular race. Speeding ahead, Jack Boggs, kind of in his own zone, to quote another driver. He's won 8 of 12 races prior to the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout and wins heat race number 2 tonight. In heat race number 3, John Gill on the inside pole wiggles just a little at the beginning, just a little bit loose, a little bit slippery, and quickly to the outside. Mark Martin in the 17 car goes ahead, but on the outside and then soon on the inside, the number 7 car of Mark Miner from Stockbridge, Georgia, puts on a show for the fans and, of course, begins passing cars and making a dangerous move or two that scares all the other drivers on the racetrack. Mark is the bad boy of Hav-A-Tampa racing. He wins consistently by being very tough and very aggressive in the turns. But ahead of him, Mark Martin in the 17 car continues to hold off the 66 car, while John Gill wins heat race number 3 and moves himself into the final 18 places for tonight's race. In heat race number 4, inside row number 1, it's Billy Moyer. But on the outside, it's Jack Pennington in the 01 car who blasts ahead of Billy, and they go 3 wide in turn 3 and 4 with some contact with Billy Moyer and Jody Somerville. That, of course, causes Moyer to slip a little, and he has to battle to get back up into that 3rd spot, chasing down Jack Pennington, who's in the lead. In the 3rd spot, already passed by Moyer, is the number 90 car, Bobby Seale from Alabama, who puts a little bump on Moyer again as they enter turn 3. Coming out of turn 4, Billy has the lead again in the 21 car, pushes to the outside, takes back the 2nd position, and now begins to pursue Jack Pennington, who's on a rail and running away with it so far. Around lap 7, Billy Moyer's now finding the way inside on the racetrack, where Pennington continues to run the high side, trying to come down in turn 1 and 2 on Moyer. Moyer has just about a bumper in front of him at that point. But as they battle going into turn 3, Moyer begins to pick up a little steam and sticks real nicely to the bottom of the racetrack, now showing a tire length ahead of Jack Pennington in the turns on the low side. Again, Pennington slightly to the high side, keeping the lead, but slipping out just a little in turn 2. Gets back in the back straightaway in front of Moyer, but Moyer again staying low, is slowly making it crunch time for Jack Pennington. He gets a little more bumper in front of him that time, but again on the straightaway, Pennington has the lead as he accelerates with that bigger motor, but Moyer comes back at him, although losing just a little bit in the groove on that last turn in turn 2. He's found a way back into turn 3 to quickly regain that lost ground. Now he has almost a half a car length on Pennington as they make it through the turns, and this time Moyer will stick just a little harder on the inside. Pennington fighting to stay with him. He accelerates, but it's not there. Billy Moyer has the acceleration on the back straightaway this time. Sticks again to the low groove through turn 3 and 4 and passes in the front straightaway to take the lead in heat race number 4. Pennington is now on the outs, trying to find a way to chase him down, but it's too little, too late. Billy Moyer, Jr., winner of heat race number 4, followed by 2nd place Jack Pennington and Bobby Seale from Alabama. Dale McDowell would lead the crowd all the way through the majority of the race for heat race number 5. The Chattanooga, Tennessee driver has been making a name for himself on other race circuits and now is beginning to make another name felt here in the Hav-A-Tampa series. He wins heat race number 5. Heat race number 6, Billy Ogle fights with Clint Smith, who's 3rd in the Hav-A-Tampa series race points. Billy, of course, in the 201 car, put on a show back there for 3rd and 4th. Stan Massey, though, did what he does best on all Georgia tracks as he blasts ahead here, taking the lead and running away with it, while Wendell Wallace in the 6th car just nips Randall Chubb to take 2nd.
Needless to say, these heat races have been outstanding, and it's going to be interesting to watch to see what this 100-lap feature event's going to be.
Jimmy, as a matter of fact, it's going to be very exciting, but one of the big things that happens is also the Iskey Cams Fast Gun Dash. All the pole winners from the year get together and dash for $5,000. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of that action here as we continue with the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout. The Hav-A-Tampa 6th Annual Shootout at Dixie Speedway is brought to you tonight by Landrum Spring Service, covering the racing spring industry like no one else. By American Motorsports, dirt or asphalt, it's your warehouse for your oval track racing needs. And by GRT Race Cars. GRT builds winners and is the winner of the Hav-A-Tampa Series 1995 Chassis Manufacturers Championship. And the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series, race action smoking to the finish. And by Iskey Racing Cams, Ed Iskadarian Racing Cams. Race with the legend. And here we go with the Iskey Cams Fast Gun Dash. It is about to get underway. The green flag is out. Here we go again. And this time, Jeff Smith holds the line on the inside, but quickly to the outside. It's the number 12 car of Rick Auckland from Fargo, North Dakota. Quickly behind him, coming up fast, it's Scott Bloomquist. Jeff Smith just falls back. He's all the way back to 7th. Now Scott Bloomquist is in 2nd, moving up fast. Scott is on a mission here. He wants to repeat as last year's winner. He put on a demonstration that's still the talk of the country throughout the United States on how Hav-A-Tampa dirt racing really works.
Watch this Stan Massey now under Freddie Smith. Bart Hartman out of Ohio. He's running a beautiful race, now running in 3rd position. Right behind him, though, look at this number 66 of Bill Fry. Goes to the inside. Bill is going good anywhere he goes, it looks like.
The super national late models of the Hav-A-Tampa racers, as you can see, they're like trying to run their rear ends off, throw them away to the outside, all the way around the racetrack. And at Dixie Speedway, you're constantly in a turn. You're constantly trying to keep that speed between 110 and about 80, maybe 85 miles an hour as you get back in the turns. On the backside, Stan Massey nose-to-nose battering against the 00 car with Freddie Smith. Freddie Smith throwing a rooster tail of dust, staying hot on it and trying to come up and keep span. Look at this race. Here's the race, folks, side by side. This is dirt track late model racing action. It's Iski Cam's Fast Dash money on the line here. And here he comes. Scott Bloomquist chasing after Rick Auckland. Joe's still trying to chase him down.
Look at this.
There goes Freddie Smith. He took it. He took it. He jumped on the outside. He finally found the move, and now he's going after the next one. He's going to have to hurry, though, Jimmy. This is a short race, a quick race, a fast race. And, of course, it's for $5,000. Everybody wants that one. And all 14 of these cars know someone's going to get it if they just can outlast the others and pick up the pace. Here he comes. Out of turn 4, once again, Rick Auckland has completed 10 laps. He's 5 laps away from some super pay dirt from the Iski Cam's Fast Gun Dash, Jimmy.
You better believe that. The Iski Cam Fast Gun Dash, Rick Auckland is absolutely flying around this speedway. Scott Bloomquist doing everything he can, but I'm watching this Hartman as he comes off of the number 3 corner. Here's Bill Fry down the front chute. Now Freddie Smith holding on to the number 5 running position with Stan Mess in the number 6.
That's still quite a race. We got a caution. It looks like Ronnie Johnson has slipped out on the back straightaway. That'll stop him with 11 laps in the books, and we've still got 4 laps. Now you talk about a shootout. This is for 4 laps, and here we go. We bring all the cars back together, Jimmy Mosteller.
In other words, they're going to be nose to tail, as they say in racing. I don't mind telling you.
We'll start with 14 cars, as you would say, right down their exhaust pipe.
That's right.
Ready to go.
In other words, when that man gets in your exhaust pipe, he's putting enough pressure on you to make you do one of 2 things. Either get a little quicker or get out of shape.
Unfortunately, Ronnie Johnson looks like he's coming off the racetrack, coming in on pit road out of turn 4 there. Apparently, that's going to be the end of it for him. Looks like the car's really found some havoc in it somewhere. Jimmy, what's Scott Bloomquist going to do to maybe reel this in?
All right. In other words, the only thing that Scott can do is exactly what he's doing now. This Rick Auckland is quick, extremely quick.
And away they go. The green flag is gone again. And here goes Rick Auckland. Scott Bloomquist trying to stay to the high side. The 75 car of Goddard is right behind him. He tried the same move, but it fell back a little bit. Look, Freddie Smith is back into 3rd, staying on the inside of the 75 car and making a race out of it again. He doesn't seem to be able to accelerate any quicker, and Rick Auckland is holding it off. He's got himself 13 laps. There's 2 laps to go. Rick Auckland is working his way towards $5,000 and looking beautiful in the process.
And the next time around, that white flag will be going down, signifying 1 lap remaining. Rick Auckland now off the number 4, gets a white flag. Ralph Curtis is going to be happy if he can make this full lap around the speedway.
Rick Auckland going down the back straightaway. This is the final run at the Dixie Speedway Iski Cam's Fast Gun Dash event, and he's got it. He's coming out of turn 4. This is going to be the one for him. He'll take $5,000 in the win. What a dash, what a race. It was all Rick Auckland from start to finish, Jimmy.
That's exactly right, and I'm telling you, they were all quick. I've got to say this for all of those drivers. They were driving extremely hard, but in this Iski Cam Fast Dash, Rick Auckland, our winner here tonight, and that car is Curtis Equipment Company car out of Tennessee, and what a great race he drove.
And congratulations to the winner, and of course to the Iski Cams Company for being one of the many great sponsors that have come to the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series for this incredible event, Jimmy.
You know, I can't say enough about all of these sponsors that has really stood behind the Hav-A-Tampa Racing Series in 1995. This is what's made our competition get greater and greater.
And of course, it's going to get so fast and so furious in just a few moments, you won't be able to believe what you watch right here on this series. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment with the starting lineup for tonight here at the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout at Dixie Speedway. Hello, race fans. This is Trace Ali, along with the president of the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series, Jimmy Mosteller, to call the action with me tonight. Jimmy, this has to be the culmination of many dreams and a lot of work you people have put into the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series.
Well, no question about it. Coming in here for this event, over 100 of the top late model drivers in 17 different states, and coming down now to the top 26 of those drivers going in this 100-lap event. that pays $25,000 to win.
And for all of these cars, all 101 of them, and of course the final 26 tonight, there are hundreds of stories. But let's get to the lineup, Jimmy. Let's talk a little bit about who's in here. Starting in row 1 on the inside, the 1994 and now 1995 champion, unless all kinds of confusion occurs, Scott Bloomquist from Mooresburg, Tennessee in the 18 car. On the outside, winner of 9 of his 12 last races, B4, it's Jack Boggs in the B4 car from Grayson, Kentucky. In row number 2, Mitchell, Tennessee's John Gill in the number 75 car. On the outside, Billy Moyer from Batesville, Arkansas in the number 21 car.
Going to the third row to the inside, the number 17, that would be Dale McDowell out of Rossville, Georgia. On the outside of him, starting in 6th position, the number 22 of Stan Massey out of Mableton, Georgia. Starting in 7th position, Herman Goddard out of Knoxville, Tennessee, number 22. On the outside of him, the number 89 of Marshall Green out of Dalton, Georgia, starting in the 8th position.
In the 5th row, it's Johnny Verdon in the 66B car, starting in the 9th position. In the 10th position, Bommy Thomas, one of Alabama's great drivers in the 90 car from Seal, Alabama. In row number 6, it's Ronnie Johnson from Chattanooga, Tennessee in the number 5 car. And on the outside of him, Wendell Wallace from Batesville, Arkansas in the 6M car.
And in your 7th row, it's going to be on the inside, Rick Auckland out of Fargo, North Dakota in car number 12. On the outside of him in 14th starting position, the number 31, and that being Skip Arp out of Georgetown, Tennessee. Then we go to your 8th row on the inside. That would be the number 17, and that's Mark Martin out of Baxter, Tennessee, starting in 15th position. On the outside of him, starting in 16th position, the car number 114, Randall Chupp out of Friendsville, Tennessee.
From Union, Kentucky, sitting on the inside of row number 9, it's Darrell Lanigan in the 29 car. Outside him, Bill Fry from Greenbrier, Arkansas in the 66 car. Inside row 10, it's Terry Phillips from Springfield, Missouri in the number 75 car. And outside Terry Phillips, it's Johnny Johnson in the 99 car, a black car from West Burlington, Iowa.
Let's go to your 11th row on the inside. That would be John Jones, the J1, and he's out of Rock Springs, Georgia. On the outside of him, the number 66, Andy Knowles out of Tyrone, Georgia, starting actually in 22nd position. Starting in 23rd position in car 201, that is Rex Ritchie out of Ringgold, Georgia. The high side of him, driving car G2, starting in 24th position, David Gibson out of Ash Flat, Arkansas.
And David, of course, is our rookie points winner, season champion this year, along as the hard charger. We'll talk more about him in a moment. And special to this race, we've added 2 names, 2 cars, 2 top teams. Clint Smith out of Georgia in the number 1 car has been put in this race in the 25th starting position, a little unusual, but he's been added because he is currently 3rd in points. It's a promoter's choice. And on the outside of row number 13, it's the 00 car of Freddie Smith, Kings Mountain, North Carolina resident who runs for the GVS race team out of Louisiana. There he is on the screen, the 00 car of Freddie Smith, looking like the champion it ought to be. He's had a terrible time, though, of getting into this race. He's just had one problem after another. A dropped drive shaft forced him out of the race last night when we were watching the heat races, Jimmy, and now he's sitting at the back of the pack with a long, long road ahead.
But I'm watching now as I see Scott Bloomquist on the point. On the outside of him, the B4, that of Jack Boggs out of Kentucky.
And we've got a signal that we're about to get underway. The Hav-A-Tampa race for all the money is about to get underway. The 6th annual Hav-A-Tampa Shootout is underway. Scott Bloomquist catches the green flag, shoots to the outside. Some cars quickly flying to the outside. We've got other cars trying to stay not too high, slipping on the high side. We've got a crowd going down the back straightaway. There's Scott Bloomquist, the 1994 champion, flying to the front and holding on with other cars behind him, trying to catch up and get into the race, Jimmy.
Man, you really had a mess of cars coming off the number 4 turn, but let's look down the number 1 and 2 turn. But now it's Jack Boggs that he really gets through that number 3 and 4 turn in a hurry. Dives into 1 and 2, but not quite able to reel in Scott Bloomquist at this point in time.
And even though Boggs is all alone, there's a lot of traffic in turn 2. There goes Ronnie Johnson around. Wendell Wallace gets into him in the 6th car, and David Gibson goes on the low side there in the G2 car below Ronnie. The officials are looking it over, trying to see if he's okay. I think he is fine. We're just trying to see if they can get the car restarted. Let's look at that in replay. Here comes Ronnie Johnson. He's spinning out, watching his wheels, trying to grab. He gets a piece of Wendell Wallace, but Wallace gets into Bill Fry, trying to get around the number 5 car. Oh, what a problem there. Ronnie's okay, though, obviously spinning back onto the track, looking okay. Wendell Wallace is in his crew's checking for damage on that end of the car where he ran into Bill Fry. And the rest of the field's lining up to restart, Jimmy.
A bunch of cars move down through the number 1 and 2 turn.
We've got the single file. Here they go. We're getting ready. We're set up to go. J.C. Little's got the green flag ready to flutter, and away we go. Again, Scott Bloomquist again to the front as usual, and running very quickly with Jack Boggs in the B4 car now trying to come after him. In the back straightaway, we see a whole bunch of them line up. 3 wide there. There's Ronnie Johnson. He gets into the 22 car. That's Herman Goddard. They just got away from each other, and the green flag's still out. Jack Boggs apparently trying to build up a little more heat, get a little more traction perhaps. His setup was absolutely flawless last night as he raced here in the heat races, Jimmy.
Well, the reason Jack Boggs now is having to really stand on it real strong, this John Gill really putting the pressure now on Boggs. I noticed Boggs breaking loose just a little coming out of that corner.
And that surprises me, as I said, because the setup he had was so incredible last night. And right now, it seems to be okay. But as you say, John Gill, he's also got a setup that's running very smoothly in the 75 car. We've got another caution, the second caution of tonight's race. And unfortunately, we have to stop the race when they put the caution flag out. Jimmy, while we've got just a moment, let's take our break real quickly and talk to everyone about our sponsors for the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout and the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series. We'll be back in a moment. The Hav-A-Tampa racing action from the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout at Dixie Speedway is being brought to you tonight by American Motorsports. Dirt or asphalt, it's your warehouse for your oval track racing needs. By Landrum Spring Service, covering the racing spring industry like no one else. And by Iskey Racing Cams, Ed Iskadarian Racing Cams. Race with the legend. And by the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series for race action that's smoking to the finish. And the cars are now back up to speed, getting ready to steam those tires a little bit. Scott Bloomquist in turn 4 gets the look. Here comes the sea of cars that are known as the Hav-A-Tampa Super Late Models, blasting down the front straightaway into turn 1, following Scott Bloomquist with our camera right through turn 2, and a little on the high side goes David Gibson and several other cars trying to find a way to get in there and stay without going down too low in the loose stuff. The loose stuff at this point is working for most cars. Unfortunately for Billy Moyer, it's creating a bobble or two in his driving style and making that car upset itself a little bit, and a little bit hard to steer. Stan Massey pulling into the sight there, but Billy Moyer's right on his tail. Both of them making a run towards the front, trying to pick up speed, build up temperatures in the tires to get themselves stuck and rolling around the racetrack. Here we go. Beautiful look. Freddie Smith on the outside coming out of there, the 00 car, and all the other cars now trying to decide whether to stay on the hard stuff or the soft stuff.
Well, you've really got pressure going all the way around the speedway. Moyer losing just a little bit of ground to Stan Massey as they come off the number 4 turn. But look on the outside. Here's Bill Fry.
Taking to the outside in turn 1. He's holding the outside on Billy Moyer, and he's almost got it. It's Bill and Billy. 66 on the outside from Greenbrier, Arkansas. Shoots a little bit to the inside. Stays high in 3. Here comes Billy Moyer again, still staying low and holding him off. Stan Massey trying to stay ahead of both of them, following Dale McDowell in the 17 car, who's currently 4th in this race.
And needless to say, going a little bit high in the corner. Moyer falling a little bit further back. But here is Bill Fry running flat out as they come now. He's trying to get around Stan Massey. Massey trying to get around Dale McDowell in the number 17.
Stan Massey always tough at every Georgia racetrack he runs on, though most of them his home tracks, I guess you'd say. Has won big this year. 2 races almost back-to-back in the Hav-A-Tampa race series. Has looked strong everywhere. He knows how to put this race car together and make it work well.
Stan Massey now to the inside of Dale McDowell. Dan Massey has now moved up, but here comes Dale McDowell coming right back.
Dale McDowell trying to take that position back out there in turn 3. Here he comes out of 4, staying a little bit on the lower left quarter panel there, but slips back just a little. Stan Massey found a little bite, went to the outside, shot high, and now he's back into turn 1 and 2 and going low again. The pattern here on the line seems to be fly high to the back side, the front side, but start to shoot low when you get into those turns. Start high, go low, and stay high again.
They are riding that high groove as they come down off the number 4 turn. Stan Massey getting around. Dale McDowell moving in that number 3 running position. But he's still got a long way to go to reach Jack Boggs and also Scott Bloomquist, who is now going in the number 1 turn flat out.
And, of course, Scott Bloomquist is the leader, and now in just 11 laps has caught the back of the pack and is now dealing with that high-class problem of how to get around some of that traffic and keep the lead without other cars gaining on you from behind because their speeds are uninhibited by some of those other cars.
Well, I don't mind telling you, any way you look at it, this guy is running flat out.
Scott Bloomquist, driving the number 18 Barry Wright car, has the perfect example of how to run a race car, how to put a race car together and make it look good. The low shot, of course, shows you the speed of almost 110 miles an hour flying at you there out of turn one, and then the acceleration or deceleration as they go through the turn, and then back to the high side on the back straightaway. Here's Freddie Smith out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, driving the GVS race team car, trying to find his way to the front. He is making some moves. He's gained a few positions. We'll check with our scorers here in a moment and find out more how he's doing. You just saw the number 90 car, Bobby Thomas from Seal, Alabama, one of Alabama's real champion drivers and definitely one of the many top high-class drivers running tonight at the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout at Dixie Speedway, Jimmy.
Well, needless to say, I see that Clint Smith in the Benson Ford is really going after Bobby Thomas, but so far not being quite able to get around him.
Clint Smith actually has them right on his bumper there, Jimmy. I think he's hoping that he can keep it that way. The yellow flag has come out for the third time at the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout at Dixie Speedway. We'll try to take a look around the racetrack. It seems to be Billy Moyer. He's on the front straightaway here in turn 4. Unfortunately, it looks like another flat tire or something has happened to Billy Moyer's car. Billy's sitting in there waiting for traffic to get by, I guess, so he can figure out how to signal to the rest of his crew. I'm sure he's talking to them on the radio, trying to figure out just exactly what's gone wrong. Scott Bloomquist, of course, your leader, followed in second by Jack Boggs, and back behind Jack Boggs, the third place position is John Gill, followed by 22 Stan Massey, the number 66 car of Bill Fry, the 17 car of Dale McDowell, 75 Terry Phillips, number 89 Marshall Green, number 66 V Johnny Verdon, and 201 Rex Ritchie, pretty much your top 10. And the way it stacks up right now here at Dixie Speedway, where the fastest Hav-A-Tampa race series in America is running tonight.
Waiting for the green to come out again.
Very smooth and about ready to go underway. J.C. Little has the green flag up. It's going, it's flying. We have the race underway again. Lap number 26, I believe, is underway. Here goes Scott Bloomquist again, smooth through the turns, followed by all the other people in the back, trying to find a way to go 3, 4, even 5 wide and through some of those turns and try to get that speed and get just enough power, enough position to shoot inside and take it away a little bit. Back in the field, we see Stan Massey cutting by there. Now Terry Phillips on the high side going through turn 2 with Stan Massey up front, running smooth and free. It's Scott Bloomquist from Mooresburg, Tennessee, in the 18 car, the 94 champion, and more than likely the 1995 champion of the Hav-A-Tampa race series. Battle to the outside. Look at that, Jimmy.
Hey, look at this. Bill Fry now really moving strong to the outside, trying to move around. Jack Boggs goes high, real high, is actually dirt.
Grabs the fight in turn 4 like I've never seen and still holds on, keeps his speed, keeps his forward momentum, did not lose a position, and he's still moving up. And if I believe if our cameras get out there and look at it, we've got Freddie Smith way up into the middle of the pack after starting dead last in this race. We've got some cars. It looks like Rex Ritchie out there, I believe. It got spun around out there on the track and coming out of turn 4. And we're going to take a moment here and take another break for our sponsors as we continue with the racing action from the Hav-A-Tampa Series Super Shootout. I'm telling you, this race is just getting carried away. We'll talk some more about it in a moment after we take this break for our sponsors. J.C. Little on the stand as we come back to Hav-A-Tampa Shootout Racing at Dixie Speedway. Scott Bloomquist has led every lap. He leads the next one as they go flying through the turn with plenty more action and plenty of passing there on the outside. Look at that, Jimmy.
You watch this. A race is never over till the checkered flag goes down. Freddie Smith now has just moved around Clint Smith in the Benson Ford. Freddie Smith really on the move, goes a little bit high.
Coming up on John Jones and the J1 car in front of him. Freddie Smith has just come alive in this race. I can't believe what's happening here, Jimmy. He started dead last, and he's already up to 11th now.
And he now moves right down under John Jones. They go into number 3 and 4 turn. This is Freddie's type racing. I've had hard luck all the way, but let me go after it now.
Diving on the inside, coming back to the outside, taking a look on either side of that J1 car of John Jones. Another great driver. But Freddie Smith, I'm not quite sure how to explain this. When you know the man as we do, you call him a gentleman, and he is. But put him in a race car, and suddenly there's an animal loose inside that car, and you'd better get out of his way, because once his team with the GVS race team figures out how to get that car to go, this guy is deadly. As he goes to the outside of John Jones, he's going past him on the outside of turn 3. He's got another position. Freddie Smith is now up to 10th. This is proof there's passing on this racetrack tonight, folks. Take a look at this. We're coming back to a little more of the field. We're going to take a look back here and see at the other cars. There's Clint Smith we were just talking about earlier. And on the outside, going to the outside and taking that position away from Clint, it's Ronnie Johnson in the number 5 car. Another car that seems to be coming alive and staying on the high side. Jimmy, have you noticed how many cars are running the groove on most of the racetrack, but when they get to turn 4, they shoot high on the outside? Why are they doing that?
They found surface up there to run, as we were talking earlier. The high groove, if they can keep it from getting not too rough, but Ronnie Johnson really moving, coming off of that turn.
That is pretty amazing stuff to me, because when you look at it, it looks like it'd be the totally wrong thing to be doing. But that's what a race is about, finding the conditions that work for you and your race car and getting after it. And that's what Ronnie Johnson's doing. Coming out of turn 3, 4, and down to the front straightaway as our cameras follow Ronnie Johnson into turn 1. A look at him as he comes back up on John Jones. John Jones still holding position behind Marshall Green in the 89 car. And all the other cars still basically trying to figure out the setup that works for them. But Scott Bloomquist is running in front and leading every step of the way. Freddie Smith is going for another position, and he's making the move on Stan Massey.
Can you believe
my
it?
God, what a race. Look at this. There he goes on the inside. Freddie is going to make this one stick, I think. Stan Massey, of course, is very quick on the back straightaway, shoots in front of him, and has that speed. Stan Massey's got the line figured out on this racetrack probably as well as anybody who's ever raced in Hav-A-Tampa racing, and look at him go.
Yeah,
there goes Freddie Smith. I think he's finally done it. He pulled the position. Freddie is now up to 9th after starting 26th in tonight's race. This is a story, ladies and gentlemen. Freddie Smith and the 00 car. Look out, bazooka tubes are coming after him.
And no question about it, with all the problems he's had, he said, well, there's no way to just, I can't have any worse problems I've had, but he's coming here with one thought in mind. Let me just get in there and drive this thing flat out, and maybe I can finish in the top 5.
But here's Freddie Smith working on another position. The bazooka car is going berserk on the racetrack. Look at that.
It's unreal the way he's driving this race car right now. I would say that Freddie is running faster. If we were on a clock right now, he'd probably have the fastest time, because he's absolutely flying, picking them off one at a time, working his way toward the front.
You're looking at what dirt track racing has become in America. One of the fastest, most exciting, sexiest sports maybe to watch anywhere. And you're watching it right here tonight with Scott Bloomquist, your 1994 Hav-A-Tampa Series champion, also about to become the 1995 champion as he races towards the front, and possibly one of the bigger wins, one of the many big wins he's had in 1995, Jimmy. The 90 car, of course, is being pursued by 22 there. That 90 car, I'm sorry I keep having trouble with that gentleman's name, is Bobby Thomas. He's one of the great drivers out of Alabama and one of the 15 different states represented here tonight as we race for 100 laps. There's Bill Fry. He's moved to the outside. Scott Bloomquist is now in a battle for his life. They've got Skip Arp at the tail, right between him, sandwiched between them, 3 wide, going into turn 1. But Bill Fry is making that move. He's on the high side of Scott Bloomquist. He's finding the room to run, and now he's going down the back straightaway. He accelerates with some speed. He's moved ahead of Scott Bloomquist. For the first time tonight, Bill Fry is now in the lead, as it was once upon a time in July of 1994 when he won the qualifier in front of Scott. Scott's being bumped around a little bit out there in turn 2, and Bill Fry has taken the lead of the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout. What a move. All that speed, where did that come from?
All right, and the caution flag comes out again.
The caution flag has come out. It ought to hold, and listen, we have got a race on our hands. Jimmy Mosteller, we're going to see some of the most exciting racing come to an even faster motion and possibly a conclusion here. But let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
We've got to thank our great sponsors, and we'll be back with more of this incredible action from the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout in just a moment. Dixie Speedway, home of the champions, and what a race we've got here tonight. Look real quickly at this. Bill Fry on lap 61 has now taken the lead over Scott Bloomquist, who led every other single lap so far in this race. Jimmy Mosteller right after that, of course, the B4 car of Jack Boggs, who started second, still holding strong. But in 4th place, the 00 car of Freddie Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get ready to roll again. Bill Fry's got the lead. He can start this race. J.C. Little runs the green flag out, and here comes Bill. Bill is going for the rough. I mean, that guy is driving off the racetrack and still taking the lead. Bill Bill Fry's definitely got himself a battle, though. Scott Bloomquist on the low side has been absolutely perfect all night, has not had to run a single lap behind until Bill Fry took the lead. But look at this. Bill Fry is looking for the roughest course he can find, and it makes him go faster.
Bill Fry's picking up $100 for every lap that he leads. And if he could go all the way, he's going to take home a big payday here from the Dixie Speedway. But Scott Bloomquist, Jack Boggs, Freddie Smith, Terry Phillips there. And look at Phillips now going to the high side as he goes in that corner.
There's another excitement-filled race car. That number 75 car also started quite a bit back in the race tonight, and he has made incredible progress. Of course, he was a position or two ahead of where he is currently earlier. But the moves that Bill Fry have made, and now Freddie Smith on the outside of Jack Boggs has begun another move. I thought that car might just rest for a little bit and try to catch his breath from all the other things he's done. But look at this. Jack Boggs in the B4 car has got more than he can stand. As Jimmy Mosteller would say, right down his exhaust pipe. Here comes Freddie Smith again for another shot.
But now Jack Boggs begins to stand on it as he moves down through the number 3 and 4 turn. And it looks like this Bill Fry coming down. But now Freddie Smith going after Jack Boggs. Can he reach him?
One of the most exciting things about dirt track racing is you can look at a racetrack and think you've seen it all and then realize you haven't seen it all. Every racetrack is different. Every event is different. And Freddie Smith, who started 26th, is proving it. He's all the way up to 4th and battling for 3rd, chasing down Jack Boggs, one of the biggest winners of all types of races this season. And again, proof that the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout is what you need to see if you want the most excitement in your life for dirt track late model racing. You can't get it any better than this. Terry Phillips out of Springfield, Missouri, coming down there out of turn 3 and into 4, still holding another line, very similar to what Bill Fry has done every step of the way to get himself up to this level. And in fact, Terry is running almost exactly the same line, kind of high in the hard stuff in turn 4, a little bit high in turn 1, and then shooting back down for the low side, going through 2, shooting quickly and very fast down the back straight line. And now 71 laps are burned up by all of them as we look at all these cars coming through turn 4. And all of these guys have got to find a way to start to make that final move. We're down to 28 laps to go. Stan Massey out of Mableton, Georgia, one of those guys that could make it happen still. He's always making it happen on a racetrack, and you can't discount anything he does during a race until you see that final flag.
A lot of these drivers really trying to save their tires to the last 20 laps. But Rick Auckland and the Ralph Curtis equipment really holding on. Here's Ronnie Johnson now as he tries to gain more positions also, but he's back in the pack.
Ronnie Johnson running in 5th with Dale McDowell back there in 6th position. And, of course, that's a battle that could determine quite a bit of money for both of them. Clint Smith, the guy that needs to get ahead of Ronnie Johnson, seems to be well back in the pack. Ronnie Johnson looks like he'll continue this race, and regardless of how he finishes, will retain his second place points finish in the Hav-A-Tampa National Series tonight. Of course, that means a lot in the way of not only money, but it also still means a lot in the prestige of it. Here's the battle with Dale McDowell, Jimmy. Look at him going inside. G2 David Gibson coming into the race. Now he's going strong to the outside. He's going to the high side. It's like, don't scare me too much, but let me into that rough and I'll run for my life. There they go.
That's exactly what's happening, but as we were talking about that high side earlier in the race, if it would stay just smooth enough, they could throw those wheels up in that loose stuff, get a good firm bite. They'd shoot off of those corners like being shot out of a gun.
Bill Fry in front of Scott Bloomquist. That's your second place car now. B4 of Jack Boggs is 3rd, and behind him, Freddie Smith still holding on to 4th.
10 laps remaining. It's still anybody's race, but it's going to be hard to reel in that number 66 of Bill Fry.
Bill Fry, unless some mechanical gremlin gets a hold of him and his car, has got himself on a path to victory and glory tonight. This is one of the great comeback stories in Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series history, because Bill Fry has not won a race on this racetrack since the July qualifier in 1994, and has had more trouble on this racetrack than anybody, it seems like, ever since, other than Freddie Smith. And Freddie Smith is on the inside here. Here comes the 66. I believe that is Bill Fry going around Darrell Lanigan right there. Bill, of course, picking off the lap traffic one by one as they keep flying by. Looking a little loose there, way up on the high side in turn 1 and 2. Boy, that is rough looking up there, Jimmy.
He does live reckless. He does live reckless. Let me tell you, when you're running over 100 miles an hour, getting up in that loose stuff. Look at this, Scott Bloomquist now. Scott gets high. Is someone else going to reel him in?
Scott has decided, now enough is enough. I'm coming after you, Bill. Get ready, because here I come, and I'm not afraid to tell you about it. Look at that. He's jumped to the high side now. They both stayed low. They both made incredible progress all through this race, but Bill was the first to take that move, go to the outside, and we've got 5 laps to go with him still trying to hold off Scott, but Scott is coming after him. Scott Bloomquist is a champion. He wants a win.
On the inside, there goes Freddie Smith to the inside of Jack Boggs.
He's moving into third.
Freddie Smith on the inside of Boggs.
It's incredible what Freddie Smith has done in this race. He has increased the most positions in this race, but Bill Fry's also started deep back there. The 66 car of Johnny Verdon is also still a little bit of a factor back there to pick up one more position, it looks like, possibly over Clint Smith. But that's not the Bill Fry car that's winning this race. He's right here in turn 1 with Scott Bloomquist.
There he goes.
Eating dirt and chasing down. Here comes Scott. He's racing inside of him. Here comes Scott. Here he is. He almost had him again. 3 laps to go as they come in. Scott staying to the low side. Here we go. It's door to door, wheel to wheel, really dirt track racing. Bill Fry holds him off again, going into turn 2. Here comes Scott. He slipped a little. He's got back on the pedal. He's trying to pick up the acceleration. He's going fast as he can. But again, Bill Fry keeps going up there, grabbing some weird magic.
White flag goes
White flag has gone out. Thank you, Jimmy Mosteller. You're right. It's coming down to this, folks. The Hav-A-Tampa Shootout is racing to the end. Is it going to be Bill Fry that can take the win? We're going to find out here in just a moment. Scott Bloomquist is trying to bring it around, There goes the white flag. The checkered flag is out. Bill Fry has won the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout at Dixie Speedway in Woodstock, Georgia.
Look at these race fans. Can you believe what you're seeing right now?
All the drama, all the action, and I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people want to see Scott Bloomquist really have a battle on his hands, and Bill Fry was just the man to bring it to him tonight.
Okay, pal, that's Hav-A-Tampa racing, Hav-A-Tampa style, any way you look at it.
That's what it's about, Jimmy Mosteller. Your dream and the work of the Swims family has culminated tonight in one of the most exciting races I think anyone's ever seen in dirt track late model history. That was an awesome race. We had incredible finish, of course, with Bill Fry coming all the way up. I'm trying to remember where he started, but it was an awesome beginning. We're going to take a look here in just a moment at the winner's interview with Bill Fry, who's won the race tonight. On the front straightaway at Dixie Speedway, you're looking at tonight's winner of the 6th annual Hav-A-Tampa Shootout. That's Bill Fry from Greenbrier, Arkansas. A great win. We're going down to talk to him in just a moment. Remember, our series for the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series this season has been brought to you by Landrum Spring Service, covering the racing spring industry like no one else. By American Motorsports, dirt or asphalt, it's your warehouse for your oval track racing needs. By Iski Racing Cams, Ed Iskandarian Racing Cams, race with the legend. By GRT Race Cars. GRT builds winners, and GRT is the winner of the Hav-A-Tampa 1995 6th Annual Shootout. And by the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. They bring great race action to tracks everywhere that are smoking to the finish. Now let's go down to the racetrack and talk to our winner tonight, Bill Fry.
Bill, your name is synonymous with Hav-A-Tampa Series and winning, and of course tonight you've done it here again. Tell us, where was the crucial point in the race for you?
I think the consolation helped me a lot. In the consolation race, I found there was a groove up there, and we came in, we changed a spring on the car and a shock, and we went right back out, and we raced. That's all we done.
You raced from what position did you start?
19th, I think. 19th or 20th, I'm not sure.
From 19th position to #1 and a winner. Bill, all I can say is congratulations to you. We've interviewed you many times, and this is the happiest time, and one of the interviews for me, I know, and I know it's got to be one for you. We're going to look forward to seeing you in this same winner's circle many times more in the future, and especially in '96. You got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for televising these events and doing such a super job for them. They've really helped racing in late model dirts immensely.
We got up there and charged pretty hard at the end, and thought we had enough there for him, but just right there at the end, run out of laps. So,
Freddie, great race in anybody's books. Can you tell us about how you made the move in 26th to 4th?
Well, you know, we had a rough down back in the back. We didn't think we were going to get to go anywhere there to start with. But, you know, we got tied up in the slower cars, and we was a little bit quicker than they was, but, you know, we had to make our way through it. Then we got through some of the guys, and, you know, we just made our way on up to the fourth.
Incredible racing, and of course Freddie Smith coming all the way from the back of the pack to finish up 4th, but Bill Fry started 20th actually, and is tonight's winner of the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout. A look here now at the standings. Bill Fry, the winner of the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout. Behind him, of course, Scott Bloomquist, followed by Jack Boggs in 3rd, Freddie Smith in 4th. Then it was Stan Massey in 5th. In 6th, Terry Phillips. In 7th, Ronnie Johnson. In 8th, Dale McDowell. In 9th, it was Burt Transmission Wait On Racing Rookie of the Year for the series, David Gibson. In 10th, it was Rick Auckland. In 11th, Marshall Green. In 12th, John Jones. 13th, it was Clint Smith, finishing 3rd overall in the series points this year. 14th, it was Johnny Verdon in the 66B car, followed in 15th by Darrell Lanigan. In 16th, it was Skip Art. 17th, Herman Goddard. In 18th, Randall Chuff. 19th was John Gill, and 20th was Bobby Thomas. In 21st, it was Andy Knowles. 22nd, Johnny Johnson, followed by Rex Ritchie. Billy Moyer Jr. finished 24th, Mark Martin in 25th, and Wendell Wallace was 26th. A video copy of the 6th annual Hav-A-Tampa Shootout is available with all the action, plus additional driver interviews and other scenes from the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout at Dixie Speedway, Georgia. Just $25. Check your money order to the address on your screen. Plus, only with this television offer, you'll also receive your souvenir copy of the Hav-A-Tampa Shootout program free with your $25 purchase. Only check or money order accepted. Allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Overnight accommodations provided by the Best Western Frontier Inn in Ackworth, Georgia. Plan your next stay at the Best Western Frontier Inn. And remember, the '96 Olympics are coming next July, so reserve your room now for the Hav-A-Tampa qualifier in July and the shootout in September. Call the number on your screen now. And again, congratulations to Scott Bloomquist. He is the 1995 Series champion. And thank you, everyone, for watching all of our programs this season. Join us again for more in 1996. This is Trace Ali. Race fans, it's been great. Thanks for being with us. Thanks to Jimmy Mosteller and every...